Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're putting this together. This is the first time I've done this for SATAC. This is going to be basically a scrimmage match. One team only had one player, so we're going to be fielding six random people, various members of the flight sim community, air show, Axon, Knight, Sharklet, and we're trying to get this set up. This is the first time I've done this, so please bear with me as we're going through. Audio is coming through. Yeah, audio is coming through. We have Air Show D here in an F4 Phantom. I'm gonna actually adjust the audio volume here. X we have in a MiG-29. Sharklet in an F-14 for natural habitat. Internet in an F-14. Knight in an F-14 as well. And then down here we got Skelly in the F-16. I have some decent hopes for the F-16. I think the F-16 could do quite a bit because it's one of the few aircraft with a look down, shoot down capability in SATAC, but it will not have the radar to actually shoot down. It's still one of the best turning aircraft, I think, in the time period that SATAC Cold War is taking part in. Cannot hear SRS. All right, let me pop that in. All right, I've got SRS in the other, in a different scene, but not this one. Application audio capture. Get that right up. SRS should be up now. Radio check.
Overwatch, copies 5-5.
It is extraordinarily loud. Let me turn that down on your end. And Nut Squadron is playing this friendly match against LYS. LYS is bringing an F-16, a MiG-29. We have a Mirage F1E. I have good hopes for the Mirage F1 in this as well. I think it will perform quite well. It's got fairly comparable capabilities to an F4, although it has fewer missiles. And the Matra 530 missiles that it gets, the Fox 1s, are quite the beasts. We have Kilo Renault in an F-14. I think sorry, I didn't have time for their skins either. But I think the F-14 is going to be a monster in this. It's got pretty good turning. It's got a lot of Fox 1 missiles. Another F-14. And a third F-14.
Next squadron, Overwatch, what's your tactic?
I woke up 10 minutes ago, that's my tactic.
Oh
We
boy.
emit a lot of fucking reball energy.
I expect Nuts
Oh,
to
okay, that is a good strategy, Overwatch.
do pretty badly the first match and then possibly catch things up on the second. Air show is getting to the runway, so both teams are taxiing, getting ready for this fight. Both teams are invariably more ready for this fight than I am.
I've been told to say something.
All good.
Okay, you good.
All right, they're still lining up. No one's in liveries. Air show's in pretty standard livery. Sharklet not have a Blaha. Sharklet does not have a Blaha skin. Interesting. And I know I don't have the other team's skins because I have not had time for that. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3 Tomcats, MiG-29, F-16, and an F-4. This is going to be an interesting matchup. We'll see if the Nuts training has gone on well, or if it will fail them. I am sitting in the Nuts chat listening to their strategy. I know you guys can't hear it. I've gotten it muted. I wonder if that F1 is waiting on its alignment.
We're going to send the 14s up to about 40,000 feet to see if they can scope them out and get the early
Buffering
shots
a
off.
bit. Oh god.
And,
Oh no.
the rest of us are going to be
Internet.
following at about 20 to 25,000 feet.
I apologize for that. The internet is being a pain.
Air show, Overwatch. Did you say F-14 is going to go 40,000 feet?
Yeah, well, high. Relatively high, I think.
Yep, copy that.
We're gonna hope that it'll recover, because a lot of the time, if Twitch is just having a bad day, there's not a lot I can do about it. I can test some connections, but if the server's on a bad server, there's not, or if the stream's on a bad server, there's not a lot I can do. That is fantastic that it's all no connection. Okay. Twitch is having a time. There's not much I can do about that. Those DAC view for FPS. It's not performance, it's internet on Twitch end. View stats, drop frames, all the network. Yep. I'm getting good internet speed up and down. It looks like it's recovering. We're back at 8,000 kilobytes per second. Oh, and it's down. I have TAC view open, but TAC view isn't connected to anything. All right, Mirage F1's not aligned yet. Okay, that's what I suspected. It does take a little bit to align.
Overwatch Nut Squadron, do you guys have any special brevity you would like me to use?
This is bull. What do you mean?
Any special what?
Brevity.
No.
Twitch, please.
Informal.
I can hope and pray.
Alright, fellas. We are going to win this match, okay?
We've got more aiming for like 1 kill.
Yeah, all the streams have open are dying. Yeah, that's about right. I have a Twitch bandwidth test application. I told it to connect to the 4 servers that are closest to me,
You guys have the courage.
and
Yeah,
they
you're gonna
all
get more than
completely
1 kill.
failed connection. So Twitch is having its own
No.
storm. This is already a scuffed enough match. We're just adding some more scuff on top of it. So sorry about that. It's good. We'll do our best. Go.
Let's go, boys. Bring some red for bud.
Let's see how this runs. Same nuts you know, yes, Rooftop Korean. This is the same nuts that you know. This is Knight's Unorganized Tactical Squad. We have, looks like Air Show taking, and I grabbed the wrong thing. Air Show taking off first. Look at these planes take flight. You know that this will be at least an exciting and engaging match. Caster set up like before. We didn't have time to set it up, Joe. I'm sorry. That match flown and streamed at the same time. Well, I'm not flying this match. That was the original plan, but we grabbed an extra person, so I didn't have to do both at the same time. So I am just spectating. Thankfully, this is a lot going on to try to have done both at the same time. We are spectating Nuts' favorite shark.
F-14's Overwatch. I recommend you guys create some separation, maybe like
Yeah, we gotta
5,
hope Twitch gets
50
going.
miles or something like that.
I did a server test.
guys are like
The
in a
servers
circle,
are just
separation.
not connecting on my. I'm just not connecting to half the North American servers. Yeah, I've got both North American Mexico, Dallas, Denver, Garland, Ashburn, Atlanta, Chicago, both of them, McAllen, Miami, both New York, all failed, and the few that are still up are not running well. So I apologize that the server bitrate is going to be terrible. There's not a lot I can do. Let's see, who will make it in first? The F-14 here is about 28 miles out. Airshow is about 33 miles out. It looks like LYS will make it first. For the rules, a team must hold the center circle zone for 5 minutes without any enemy aircraft in it, and they have to hold that for the 5 minutes before they can leave and land, and at least one of their aircraft must land to win the match. And it is best of 3 for these qualification matches. Thought it was flying too. Yeah, that was originally the plan, but we managed to wrestle Sharklet out of bed. They managed to wrestle the Sky Shark out of bed to fly her F-14 for us. And there are few F-14 pilots I know who are better than Sharklet, so this should be an interesting match. I would absolutely love to fly a scrimmage against some SATAC team sometime. I know I will absolutely get destroyed. I'm, especially in this format, I'm not very good with situational awareness. I rely probably a bit too much on GCI and data link. You don't know anyone else but Skelly and Airshow. We've got
Overwatch,
Airshow,
internet failed.
we got
Snap heading
Skelly, we got
070
Hex,
for,
we got Knight,
separation between
we got Sharklet. There's plenty of people, and internet fail. Looks like internet is going to go for the wide flank. That might be a pretty good option. Got Airshow at 24,000 feet. He's getting up really high. I'm not sure if that's going to be the best call in an F4.
I'm hitting 25,000 feet.
The F4 really does not have very good capability to look down at all. It's used best with a little bit of antenna elevation up, in my experience. So it's best to try to be under your target, look up, and shoot up at the target.
Knight, Overwatch, snap heading 090.
Do we have a formation flight going on? Not quite. Is LYS giving us a formation show? 17, 16. Not quite. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this Mirage F1. I've been taking kind of bets on what's going to be one of the best, most effective fighters in SATAC, and one of my bets is on the F1. The only thing that really holds the F1 back is its limited missile capacity. It gets 2 Sidewinders or 2 Matra 550s, and then 2 Magic 530s.
GCR, do you get missile
Or sorry,
warnings?
the other way. Magic 550s, Matra 530s. The Fox 1 missile. The 530 is, I think, one of the most effective missiles I have ever seen in DCS. I fly the Mirage F1 quite a bit in Nuts Squadron in Cold War scenarios, and it will absolutely just pull insane turns to hit targets. As long as you keep the lock, I don't think as long as you keep the lock, I think I've only seen 1 miss. Unless you're out of range. If you're out of range, they miss, but within range, they pretty much always seem to hit.
What form are we in?
What form are we in?
Yeah.
They're in the tactical blob while they're in a nice column. LYS has taken control of the battle area.
Looks like some kind of weird pincer formation. I don't know. Or a broken box formation.
Skelly and Hex are still flying together. Battle area is contested. All right. Both teams are 99 miles away. Let's show weapon and flight labels so we can see when the missiles start flying. Airshow is up at 25,000 feet with internet at 34,000 feet. Holy crap. Just RTB when all are dead. All right.
Airshow, I recommend you do a 360.
Oh, you don't need 5 minutes if you can
just
RTB. All
so
right.
the F-14
Okay.
can have, like, scope to get ahead since the enemies are all hacked up and...
Yep, roger.
Shark lit up at 28,000 feet. I'm betting these F-14s are gonna do some really effective work. I do wonder if with these older radar in most of these aircraft, it's more effective to try to hug the ground and pop up at enemies, because you do have GCI. If the enemy is clustering together like this, it makes it pretty easy to figure out where they are. One of the strategies I've heard of to try to combat better aircraft is to fly low where they won't see you, whether or not their radar actually picks you out. Just sometimes you're flying under where their radar is supposed to be.
Stand by.
The enemy is jamming. Does anyone have jamming equipment? Oh, the Mirage F1 isn't even bringing the Matras. That isn't... I didn't realize that. That's going to be an interesting play. 29. Does anybody on their team even have the ability to jam, is the question. Skelly doesn't have a jammer pod. It's difficult to not hold 2 billion Gs. Yeah, the 530. I'm quite a fan of the 530s. I really, really like them. The Mirage's F1 is just a joy to take up. But man, I cannot nail the landings in that thing no matter what I do. I'm hearing a lot of talk. I don't know if I want to give away what Nuts is planning, but they're talking quite a bit about their plans and how to fight. And it looks like, okay, their F-16 and their Mirage F1 have gone low, going in the valleys. What is the... I was gonna ask, what is their F-16's loadout? I know what their loadout is. It's gonna be six IR missiles because that's what it can bring.
F-14s, do you guys have a picture?
I'm seeing bitrate is super high. I hope that means the stream is running at least somewhat smooth.
Bandits are at 46,000 feet and 35,000 feet.
I can pull up my own stream to see how it's going.
One of them just disappeared.
GCI reports that one of them has just disappeared. I think
They're
it's
pulling
likely
up
this
51st
Mirage
PVO.
F1.
They're in close formation, guys.
Oh yeah, that is good. That is a good point. The 51st PVO uses a strategy typically of trying to stay close together with their aircraft, so that they appear as one. Possible missile launch. I don't see any missile launches yet.
Oh, can I get up, Bobby?
Stand by. Who was it?
Better to fly low. Yeah. Locked into a firing position. Yep, that's my thought.
Step up.
F-214's hard locking me.
36 miles out. What is the range you can typically fire a Sparrow at?
Hex, I don't
I've
have a
never
radar contact on you.
particularly paid attention when I'm firing them. I wait for the shoot cue and go for it.
Hex, snap heading 084 for 35, F-14 at 42,000 feet.
Oh, their F-14s have gone way high. Oh, one is at even 43,000 feet. Holy crap.
Skelly, turn heading 052
They're getting quite high. It's going to be
8,000
potentially hard to counter,
F-16
although
coming
we've got Internet and Sharklet in F-14s high up as well. Airshow and Night in an
Knight, you have
F-14. So we
bandit
got
contact.
three guys really high up.
Gotta
Airshow
lock up,
at intermediate altitude against their three high up F-14s and three low flying guys,
Nothing so far.
which seems to be back for now. That's good news. I see it's all green on my end too. Axon, do you think that your nuts training squad is going to pay off in this match? Skelly is coming in for a fight against the LYS F-16. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Do they see each other? I'm not sure. Oh, Skelly's fired a rocket, or a missile, the first missile of the match, and he splashes the LYS F-16. Oh, man, the first kill by an F-16. I do have good feelings about the F-16 if it can be used creatively. Two AM-7s coming in from F-14s, one on Hex, one on Airshow, and an AM-7 coming in at Hex from Friendlies? Okay, this is a complete miss. Airshow has got an AM-7 coming in on him.
Bandit, 45,000.
Will he dodge it? Is it still tracking? Oh! Airshow splashed by an AM-7. Internet fail. Gets an F-14. Hex gets an F-14. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 2. Or 5 versus 3. Nuts is doing way better than I thought. Hex has fired an R-27 at a corpse. Sharklet is exchanging AIM-7s with an LYS F-14. LYS has seen... Zipper has seen the Sparrow and is dodging it. I think they've defeated it. Oh, but there's an AM-7 coming in from Night, and Night takes them out. Skelly is getting on their Mirage F1E. That is their last enemy. Or, no, one of their last two enemies. He's on their 6. He's fired at a Fox 2. No hits. He fires another, and splash! Now he's got to contend with a MiG-29. Skelly has 3 Fox 2s left. The MiG-29 is still full on. I don't know what these missiles are. Can someone tell me what these missiles are? I have to ask Airshow to make me an ID table of these. They're desperately trying to IFF on the Nut Squad, seeing who's who, cutting through this chaos. And it fires what looks like a Fox 1. Garen fires what looks like a Fox 1. Exchanging Fox 1s with internet fail. Skelly is flying almost a formation with it, with Garen. Flying over each other. I don't know if they see each other. Oh, no, I'm seeing my mouse cursor here. But Garen still has their lights on. Skelly has no idea where Garen is. Garen Urine did not hit their missile. And I see Twitch is having a good time again. Skelly going for ace. How many kills has Skelly gotten? F16, F1EE. So this would be his third if he can manage this. Sounds like the Nut Squad is completely clueless to where this MiG-29 is. Is that another Fox 1 fired by Garen at Hex? And Hex is out! Garen is playing in these mountains very well. Nobody knows at all where he is. Skelly flew right over Garen and had no clue where they were. This is some grade A MiG-29 piloting right here. Oh my god.
GCI, do you have updates for us?
I see that I really need to get some advice from Airshow about the camera controls for DCS. Alright, we've got a padlock. This looks like Skelly has fired a Fox 2 and hits, but not kills the MiG-29. Looks like Garen has some controls issues. Oh, and Garen is going down. Nuts has won their first match. They just have to... Oh. They just have to land their one plane, and they will have won the match. Type something up. I found a DCS camera control reference sheet that I will use for now. That was, you know, I've been. This is gonna be. I kind of want to drag the Nuts guys into a SATAC. SATAC sounds like great fun, especially Cold War, where everything's close range and hectic. I would like to fly against a SATAC team sometime, but I've missed my chance here today. Maybe when the tournament is over, we can have a friendly Nuts scrimmage against some other teams. That sounds like a good time. I know I've joked with Airshow for a while that he needs to get an all MiG-21 team together for this. F6 is for missiles, yep. Squadron is RTV. Knight still has his drop tanks on his F-14, as well as 6 missiles. I do think one of the best advantages the F-14 is going to have in this competition is the sheer number of missiles. It'll get 4, it looks like 4 Sidewinders, 4 AIM-7s, which is quite good. That's squadron rule to keep them. I see Sharklet has them as well. Does Internet have them? No, Internet ditched his. Oh yeah, another advantage the F-16 does have compared to some of these other aircraft is IFF. So a Mirage F1 has an IFF transponder, but does not have an IFF. It does not have an IFF interrogator. Skelly taking 4. Did Skelly get 4? I thought he got 3. Oh, I think it sounds like Spade, who was doing GCI for Nuts, lost power. Interesting. They had to contend without a GCI for a bit in that. I can't wait to get to judge everybody's landings here officially. Judging DCS pilots' landings is my favorite pastime. Although I can't throw too much shade because my landings in an F4 or the Mirage F1 are quite terrible. Call was 30 nautical miles out and then nothing after. Hex, you're not supposed to be in here. That's cheating. Come on. The Nuts Squadron is weighing their options of how to land, what order to land in, because of Knight's infamous inability to land the F-14 on runways. So the strategy Nuts has to have here is to land Knight last. That way, should Knight crater the runway, they can still land safely. Yes, I can hear you guys. I'm sitting in the Nuts Discord listening to them talk. I've got them muted on stream so you guys can't hear them. Hi, Mikides. DLC? Huh? Skelly with his lights turned on. Skelly has asked who's going in first, and Knight responds, "Well, I'm going last, so figure it out." Ah, good times. Didn't install Nuts libraries. I have the Nuts libraries. It's just they're not here. Unless y'all on Nuts got new sets of libraries with different names. I should at least have the old ones. Not even Blajas are shouting. Yeah, that's weird. All the liveries were good on my end yesterday. It's a tendency of DCS SATAC to eat liveries and just not working. Yes, Ace. Nuts wiped out LYS without a GCI for after they got in combat. I think especially in the early days of the tournament, strategies are going to be evolving, and I think it is some good experience for LYS to at least fly against somebody, regardless of how much they know what they're doing, because it will enable them for some more time to practice. Unpredictable nut jobs, yeah. And Skelly got 3. Skelly got half the team. Axon, the big question here is, when is Nuts gonna formally enter SATAC? Sharklet is passing the runway at 32,000 feet. What is she gonna do here? Is she gonna overhead brake? Can't strategize against them if there's no strategy. Exactly. Looks like Skelly is on approach. He's got his brakes out. Spade the GCI. Spade was the GCI. Spade lost power partway through the match, unfortunately. Additional casualties, your breakfast. Sharklet, how'd you lose your breakfast? Did you do too many rolls and throw it up? Now is the perfect timing. Perfect timing for what? That's to join SATAC? Yeah. He's dropping his gear a bit late. Tractor just rolled out of bed. Yep. You see the speed brakes come in as it gets close to the ground so that you don't scrape the speed brakes on the ground during the aero brake. Skelly is conscious that we are watching his landing closely, and he gives a very nice touchdown. He's holding the aero brake, as you're supposed to do in the F-16, and the nose drops. The nose does drop around 120-ish knots, depending on your loadout. Gonna roll long. Let's see who's landing next. Hey, Tholazor, you're getting drafted to do GCI. Sorry. I see Internet Fail is preparing for a landing, potentially. Sharklet going for an overhead brake. Yep, Internet is on short final here. Internet lands with a graceful landing. How much time do you need? Just put food in the oven. I don't know, 2 hours maybe. It'll be available in 30 minutes. Or you could just stop GCIing partway through, get your food, and then come back. Nuts is at 1. Scoreboard updated there. And Sharklet's down. A very graceful F-14 landing. We'll wait for Knight to land. There's just died mid-game. That's what I'm saying. If Tholazor just pops out halfway through, it's fine, right? Sharklet giving her signature roll on final. Or no, wait, Knight giving his signature roll on final. Sorry, I'm forgetting who I'm spectating here. All right, Knight, let's see if you can land it. He's coming in. He's coming in. Sharklet is spinning around in the background. Can Knight keep it on the runway? It looks like Knight's fine keeping it on the runway. And apparently I'm informed I have to take a look at Sharklet's wheelie. I have done this before in the F4 Phantom. You can actually spin right around one of your gears. Yeah, he's looking fine. Don't worry about him. Ten out of 10 landing, Knight. 10 out of 10. And server is restarting. Let me go. Back to the Game Master slot. All right, Nuts is going to be on the red team this time in the northeast, while LYS is in the southwest. Yeah, all of you get out of chat. Gosh dang it. Do I have head tracking? I do have head tracking. I'm not using it at the moment for a more stable camera. I am seeing that Ace Windover is streaming his own match. And they change planes between rounds. I believe normally that's not allowed, but I think in this case it's probably allowed. Excuse me, Nuts Squadron. The other team would like to know if they may change airplanes between matches. It is allowed. Is that normally allowed, or just because it's an unofficial match here? Streaming profile of head tracking. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I do have this. Planes spawn so far away, it's hard to see them all at once. LYS is bringing the Mirage F1E again. It looks like they're bringing the Matra 530s as well. I highly recommend those, honestly. The Mirage F1 in close range, even, it's quite good with those 530s. You can can't use 530F, they're usable in the rules. Good question. They're bringing differently. They're bringing a Vigan. I am excited to see a Vigan in this. I've wondered about how viable it is because you don't have countermeasures unless you bring the countermeasure pod. And if you do bring the countermeasure pod, you have a ton of countermeasures, but you give up 1 or 2 missiles for that. The Vigan also has some notorious issues with compressor stalls at high angles of attack, so you can't jerk it around quite as well. but if you're careful with it, you don't really have to worry too much about the compressor stalls. Honestly, the Mirage F1 has a similar issue. You see, Airshow is bringing a Mirage F1 EE as well. I really think that the Mirage F1 is going to be an underrated aircraft in this competition. It doesn't turn the greatest, but it does turn pretty well if you know how to use the combat flaps. Again, it has a downside of only bringing 4 missiles. But you can fire those Matra 530s at a decent range, which is at a decent range and at close range, which makes them quite versatile, at least in my opinion, compared to an AIM-7. I have not had good luck with AIM-7s at really any ranges. Standard jet in this comp, the MiG-29 is... Yeah, I think the MiG-29 is very difficult to beat. Padlock missile on a missile to the target. Interesting. Let me attempt something real quick. There you go. I've hidden my game cursor so you don't have to deal with that in the footage. F-16 is lining up first. That is always a good strategy. Wake turbulence is a thing in SATAC. We've seen somebody wipe out before last year due to wake turbulence. It is an unfortunate way to go, but it is an important factor that adds a little bit more strategy to SATAC in that you have to plan which aircraft will take off first to optimize your ability to get into the circle the quickest and have your cohesion be the best. I forgot to turn off something too. Sorry, I am super disorganized here. I'm gonna blame Airshow for this because I asked him to help me out and get me set up last night, and he didn't. So I forgot to disable channel points. Thankfully, nobody did it. I've got most of that stuff turned off anyway, but it should be fine. We'll do better for the official competitions. See, Tom N is still aligning likely, but Airshow is aligned already. I don't know if Airshow forwent his alignment or what. They actually aligned their nuts call signs. 1-1, 1-4, 1-6, 1-5, 1-7, 1-3. And I'm still sitting here as fluffy 1-1. All right, nuts is ready, or about ready. LYS is still getting set up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what did DCS do? Alpha Gator, if you're here, was that to fix the 530? Our map changed. Uh-oh. there is potential that Ace Windover has accidentally changed our map. Just roll with it. Can't equip the RV-74 anymore. Uh-oh. Alpha-Gator, can I get some help here? Oh. I am just as confused as you guys are. I haven't been trained for this. Alright, they've been banished back to Mazdak. You're bad. No worries. Let's put it back. Alright. Doing too many things. No worries at all. I can feel that. It has been a hectic couple of days for me as well. Trying to get ready for SATAC, prepping for the talk show that we did before this, and also just a lot of other commitments I've had. Number for breakout on the DDD and the F-14? Sharklet, why are you posting random numbers in my chat? What is this? What does it mean? I also question why your libraries don't work, guys. Oh, for breakout. Oh, okay. The F-14 game that you could play on the rear. I wonder if there are any of those for the F4 Phantom that nobody's found yet. It'll be interesting to see. Because I know there's a bunch of Easter eggs in the F4, but Heat Blur has not told us about them yet. Looks like LYS is getting ready to go, potentially with that Mirage taking a little bit longer to INS align. Nuts is 6 out of 6. Metro R530F. Is the R530F the... Yeah, that should be the Super Metro 530. So it looks like they've got the Metro 530 Supers. That'll be a bit of a strong change in favor of the Mirage F1. I like being able to hear one of the teams banter. It's pretty funny. Is it not the Super 530s? It just goes to show you how little I know about missiles. I know AIM-120 Bravo, AIM-120 Charlie, AIM-9M, and AIM-9X, and that is what I know. Anything else is a thing that I throw and I pray that it hits. SATAC is a good opportunity for me to learn these missiles better. I need to ask Airshow to throw together a table for me. Standard R, Super R530 is the Super. Ah. Switching to the other match, just DM you when ready to restart. All right, thank you, Alpha Gator. No problem. I'm learning here. This is a good time to make mistakes. This is a low chance of things being a problem. Howdy, Sarge. How's it going? Your silly nuts boys and girls are here fighting in SATAC. We are trying to actually draft them to compete. Is that our squadron? Yes, that is nuts. We have Knight, Hex, Skelly, Airshow, Internet, and Sharklet, with Tholazar as GCI, and my SRS disconnected. I can't hear their SRS. My SRS has... Oh, it's gonna be asking things. 1 second. Let me see if I can't fix my SRS. SRS has decided it does not want to be fixed. So let me try to fix that real quick. Please excuse the scuff. We'll get this back up in a sec. I don't think I am in the right server, but this is fine. Connecting to game. It looks like I'm connected and good to go. Is that what your squadron patch looks like? Yes, that is what your squadron patch looks like. All right, Nuts is about ready. LYS is waiting on that Mirage F1EE. The MiG-29 is slowly taxing. Their MiG-29 last match was a beast. I look forward to seeing what they do again. I'm sure it will be some fantastic work. One still aligning. I wonder if their F1 pilot is using a different alignment method. Normally, I use the ALCM, which I've been told is the fast align. MiG-29. Who else? F-16. Oh, this is the next team. Skelly is, oddly enough, bringing no center pylon. He's bringing the center pylon, but nothing on it, which is interesting. They even use INS. Isn't even required. Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't know how to do anything with the Mirage F1 without INS, because the compass is useful. The bearing compass doesn't work without an alignment. I know you've mentioned there's another way to do it, but I never learned that. And the other pilot might not have learned that either. They are sending an F-16 first. As I, again, select the wrong thing. They're sending their F-16 first with a pair of F-14s, the Viggen, and then the MiG-29. Compass is magnetic. The compass still needs the INS to start up before it will align and aim correctly. The navigation compass. The MiG-29 is firing flares, giving us a nice show. Oh, the Mirage F1 is taxiing. He is ready to rock and roll. I just love the look of the Mirage F1's landing gear layout. It just looks so good to me. Just look at that wide stance with the alignment of the landing gear. It just looks fantastic. They're opening their canopy. That is an interesting move. Shoot third-gen airplanes with anything other than guts and admission of weakness. Airshow, no trash talk. Come on. Looks super top-heavy. It is a little top-heavy. Although it's got that massive fuel tank under it. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays off. Yeah, we'll see how it plays off. Or plays out. Sharklet is complaining about not having a breakfast before this fight. Although, I'm pretty sure she is on GMT. Both teams ready. Nuts is ready. LYS is ready. All right, countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. F-16 is going first, rocketing down the runway. unofficially she's on Pacific time. Yeah, I get that. Sarge. For sure. F-14 up. They're going for it. The Viggen, man. I want to see what this Viggen does. The Viggen is a quite formidable aircraft. It has a pretty good power to weight ratio, and it's very easy on its fuel burn. So you can sustain high speeds for quite a while in a Viggen. F-14 flying scarily, terrifyingly close to the Viggen. Who's taking the Viggen? Leo Renault of LYS is taking the Viggen. And I misclicked. Skelly is taking off. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, Skelly, come on! Oh, some wake turbulence. The F-16 is very susceptible to wake turbulence. It is very dangerous to take off in an F-16 after something heavier. But with your power to weight ratio in the F-16, you can just full throttle it and hope for the best. If you can get to the side of the runway, you can typically make it fine. As long as you can get airborne. But it is a terrifying moment. Nuts is discussing their fence-in checks, a long-forgotten art, or a scarcely practiced art in Nuts, where many missions, pilots will come and get a good firing solution only to forget their master arm is off. It looks like Hex in his MiG-29 is closest to the circle, 27 miles. LYS is sitting at a wide range of altitudes already. The Mirage F1EE is already hiding in the terrain with the Viggen following. Here's where the Viggen makes sense. At low altitudes, it's going to be a pretty maneuverable monster that will hide in the mountains. So LYS is going to have 3 low altitude aircraft with 3 middle or high altitude aircraft. I do think part of the strategy here is going to be a combination of aircraft like the F-14 flying high up to distract the enemies, give them something to think about, while better, more maneuverable aircraft can maneuver at low altitudes to get under the enemy's radar, completely get out of their Kona radar and pop up for good kills. That is something the MiG-29, the F-16, the Viggen, the Mirage F1 are all really good at. And I wonder if there's a place for a MiG-21 in there. That none of the Nuts guys are watching your stream. They really shouldn't be, hopefully. This time it is an entirely a Nuts team coordination, with Tholazar getting his food freshly out of the oven and providing GCI for their team. Nuts has its F-14s climbing up to high altitude already. They're seem to be foregoing potentially the low altitude strategy here. Skelly's at 17,000, Airshow's at 13,000, Hex is at almost 19,000. And LYS still has their Mirage F1, their Viggen, and their MiG-29 flying low. One of their F-14s has gone low as well, but their other two are at 17,000. I wonder if they're going to try to stay entirely low throughout this match. That will make it hard for their GCI to see, and it'll be hard for their F-14s to pick them out as well. uh the Nuts is reporting Nuts GCI is reporting the LYS team is following the border between Georgia and Russia, and Airshow has remarked, "Where the fuck is that?" So clearly, GCI has seen the the Nuts GCI has seen the LYS team. They know where they are. If the GCI is working properly with realistic radar capabilities, where they're flying is going to be some of the most optimal terrain. Is this is the hilly portion, and it's far away from the Nuts AWACS. Do you see borders? Do you see borders from up here? No, we don't. Battle area is contested. They're both in. They are still 90 miles out. So this is, oh man, standard SATAC is pretty interesting because it starts out and missiles start flying pretty quick compared to Cold War, and you have a kind of long sustainment of missiles flying and combat going on. But this, it's really short and quick, and it's so exciting, but it's hard to capture it all at once. I think we're lucky that last time we captured it, most of what happened at once. This time around, I'm really rooting for LYS because that means we get 3 matches instead of just 2. Only problem is Ace's SATAC match is happening at the same time. Yep. And that's a problem. Why? You're bouncing between streams. Yeah. It does that. Bound to happen because it's BO3. Huh? Got 65 miles between both teams. 1-1 through 1-7. Likely what happened is the original plan was for me to fly with them. And it looks like Airshow is 1-1. I was probably slated to be 1-2. And then we roused Sharklet out of bed, who's 1-7, and threw her in. Oh, Axon's 1-2? Ah, okay. So much for my ego there. Viggen has faded from radar reportedly. It is clear that LYS's tactic is working somewhat. The GCI is not able to keep track of all their planes. Sorry you guys can't hear it on SRS. They're not even calling through SRS. It's all on Discord. 1-7 is also mentioning, which is you, but Sharklet's 1-7. Come on. This cluster here, I think this cluster here is going to come upon one of these spread out nuts guys and is going to vaporize them. And with the looks of things, it'll be Airshow who dies in the first minute of combat. We have Airshow playing the fun cavern flying game. There's no aircraft near enough for me to get a nearest aircraft lock on for him. Their F-14 has decided to go up and over the hills. I think they're getting seen by the AWACS. These guys are getting close. It looks like their AWACS knows where Nuts is, because Nuts has been flying high this whole time. It looks like they're doling out targets going in for the intercepts. They're turning about. Looks like the F-14 doesn't want to press this hill. He's above the hills. Who's gonna fire first? I don't think anybody's got any hard targets yet, but we're getting within Sparrow range. Internet is way up here at 40,000 feet, trying to look down at targets. I wonder what his plan here is. Knight's got somebody in front of him. He's diving down on him. They're getting close. An AM-9 has flown. We've got it. Looks like Knight might have duped this missile. Sharklet tosses an AIM-7 Sparrow into the mix. Airshow's hunting down this F-14. Do both teams have active GCI? Both teams should have active GCI. Nuts team does. I believe LYS has their own as well. The AM-9 looks defeated by Knight. Will this F-16 defeat this Sparrow coming in at it? He's fired an AM-9 at Knight and takes out Knight. Knight tries to shoot him back, but misses. AM-7, or wait, is this an AM-7 on this F-14? Looks like no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 5. Zipper is getting pincered by Hex and Sharklet. Sharklet fires an AM-7 and then an AM-9 and splashes him. Internet is getting engaged. He's close in with a Mirage F1EE. He's flying supersonic. Incredibly fast. The Mirage F1 has missed him. The enemy F-16 is coming in on Sharklet. Sharklet has launched a Fox 1. It is tracking well. I think it lost track. Elbows has duped the missile, but now has Sharklet and Hex bearing down on them. An F-14 looks like it's catching Skelly over here. Sharklet's fired a Fox 2 and takes out the F-16. Skelly is now in a dogfight with an F-14. These are two aircraft with decently comparable turn rates. It's going to be down to the pilot, I believe. Pilot and the speed regime. The F-16 will dominate at high speeds. The F-14A will dominate at low speeds. If Skelly can avoid getting dragged into a low-speed fight, he's already below his optimal turn speed. He should lay on the burner to catch some more speed before trying to engage in this. Then if he can keep on that speed, he can win this rate fight. But he's also got Garen behind him, so he can't afford to spend that time fighting. Tom has an R-27 fired on him. It looks like it missed. Liss fire, or actually, 1-2 fired a Sparrow at Skelly, but missed. It hit a hill, it looks like. Skelly has got to commit. He doesn't have the option to run right now, it doesn't look like. An F-16 is fast, but an F-14 is fast as well, and so is a MiG-29. They're hard opponents to outrun. The F-14 fires a Fox 2, and he's down. 2, 3, 4 versus 4. This is a close match. Sharklet nails another one before we can grab it. And Internet splashes the Viggen. It went from 4 versus 4 to 4 versus 2 in a flash. This is what excites me about this Cold War, about SATAC Cold War. The matches can be quick and exciting. Let's watch Garen. Garen fought valiantly last match, and I'm excited to see what he does here. Maximizing the abilities of this MiG-29, turning it to every degree it seems, and just navigating within the narrow confines of these hills. F-14's piloted by B-Boy Jester. In the early qualification matches, the F-14's going to have Jester. F-14s and F-4s can have Jester, but when we get to the elimination matches further on, they will have to have a human Rio. Looks like Airshow is coming in on Garen. Sharklet and Hex are being vectored on to support. Internet fail is a ways out, but vectoring on as well. Nuts is having some difficulty with how well the LYS team is using the mountains. They keep losing targets. Airshow has no idea where Garen is. And they have no idea. Yeah, the Nuts AWACS has no idea where LYS is right now. They're taking guesses. They're trying to figure it out. If they had their F-16, they could go up high and look down to try to find them, but they don't have that option anymore. And it makes me wonder if maybe one of the strategies is to keep the F-16 up high, to look down, not shoot down, but look down and relay that to other fighters. But at least, oh, we got another fight coming on here. We have LYS 1-2 versus Internet fail. They don't see each other. They're flying right past each other, and they don't see each other. Oh my god. Without data link, situational awareness is down to the Mark 1 eyeball. GCI can only do so much. This is not the first time we've seen this, and I don't think this will be the last time. It sounds like internet is getting vectored onto a new target. They are right here. And he sees it. He's getting turned on to him. He fired a Fox 2, but it was a very bad aspect. Might be off AWACS radar. That time I heard them call him in, but yeah, LYS has been getting under the radar quite well. A lot of ATC shows targets that are very low. Not if they're obscured between, with a mountain between them and AWACS. And LYS has been disappearing from the Nuts GCI quite often. Internet is unable to find where where 1-2 is. Airshow is coming in. We know Airshow is a phenomenal pilot. You might just see him. He's right there. He's right there, Airshow. Come on, come on. Airshow sees him. He sees him. Airshow's got all of his missiles ready. He fires a Mastra 550, or a Magic 550. Magic 550s are hard to contend with and splashes the F-14. Garen is still up, flying with his lights on, and Nuts has no idea where he is. He might, if his GCI sees Sharklet, which they should, he might be able to get a shot on Sharklet. Who's doing GCI for Nuts now? Tholazor is doing GCI for Nuts. Tholazor is a member of Nuts. Oh, the Nuts team has seen the LYS MiG-29. They're reading it as an intermittent contact. They don't have Garen solid. Nuts is red. They have the Nuts moniker in front of their name here. Nuts is getting vectored onto the intermittent contact. Garen is doing their best to stay under here, under the radar, stay behind mountains. Garen is deadly with a full load of missiles. He's got those 2 Fox 1s, I believe those are, that he used last match and splashed 2 targets with some absolutely phenomenal flying. It was an exciting thing to watch. This is some absolutely whack flying. If I was in an F-16, I would be really worried about some of these maneuvers. And I've flown some low flying in trench runs before with the F-16. But Garen is just flying this MiG-29 around as if he's strapped, as if he's actually had the plane strapped onto him. Sharklet is flown past Garen. I don't think she's seen him. Hex has got vectored in. Sharklet has gotten a visual on Garen. Sharklet, again, one of the best F-14 pilots I have ever seen. She's got a lock, she reports. She's fired a Fox 1. Garen is in trouble. There are so many aircraft on it. But Garen has used the mountains to defeat the missile. Garen is flying in a beehive right now. Oh my god. This is a hard situation to get out of. Sharklet is above. She's flaring for IFF. There's so much going on. Nuts is losing IFF. And the Fox 1 gets Garen. Oh, that was some exciting fighting. I can't wait to watch more of LYS's matches. That was... Their MiG-29 pilot is great. I can't... It's just so cool. Yeah, Cleo, they are offering a third round if you'd like. Nuts is offering a third round if you want to fly again. One of the coolest things to see in SATAC, or especially early on, is seeing new. Sorry, one sec. I'm getting news in. It sounds like we're going to just restart and start a third round. Hi, Airshow. I am here. Let me message AlphaGator about getting a restart. I don't mind at all. It looks like LYS, Axon, and others are speaking French in my chat. I do not speak French. Axon, can you translate for me? I don't mind a little bit of it, but please do try to keep English. Because I am an American and I'm dumb and can only speak one language. They're doing a third round. This is I can't wait to see more of Garen's flying. He's been doing so cool in this. Without you as AOX. LYS, you might be able to get Spade as GCI if possible. Or no, Spade is GCIing for Toro, so I don't think you will have GCI. Yeah. Lee Lice will win by default for this because their official competitor did not compete. However, Nuts, you can join the competition. It sounds like 51st would like you to join in a more official manner later on. Did your first training just 2 hours before the event? That is kind of why Airshow and I wanted to see if we could do a fun match. Because I think I got distracted when I was saying this, but early on in DC or in SATAC, and especially with new teams, you see their strategy emerge because there's only so much you can do in practice unless you know the other teams. So you'll see teams that are new, they'll come in and their first round they won't have a strategy that works well, and then if they're adaptable, they'll adapt. Their second round will go much better. Best of 3, yeah, but we're doing a third match for fun. This is a good chance for LYS to get some additional experience and figure out the the strategy in Cold War, especially since right now Cold War SATAC does not have good defined strategies. It's all up in the air. There's been 2 matches before this one, I think, only 2. Training and nuts doesn't go together. Fair. It looks like on the nuts side we have 3 F-14s again, Skelly in an F-4, Airshow in an F-4, and Hex in a MiG-29. While LYS has an F-14, 3 F-14s, the F-16 again, the Mirage F-1, and the MiG-29. Landings count for match wins. In a normal match, you have to gain control of the circle, and then after defeating, you have to gain control of the circle after defeating the enemies, and then land. If you don't, it becomes a tie. Yeah, you need at least one guy to land. We have seen some difficulty before last year in SATAC, where the visibility was quite low, and some teams had difficulty landing at Sochi. So it can be important to try to practice your low visibility landings. I don't know if we have ILS, but if you can practice some ILS with your aircraft. If not, you're going to have to figure out how to dive and drive for your airfield, which for Sochi it isn't too bad because you don't have much that's higher than the runway. You've got your runway at 98 feet and everything else is below. At Mozdok, you might have more trouble. But Mozdok has these VOR beacons if you know how to use them. Airshow, can you please keep the chat PG? Whether randomized for each match. It is kind of randomized. I believe there are presets that we roll for. Caesar, you're new to DCS. You played War Thunder and IL-2 before. Started to learn the F-15C. We have server recommendations that you can practice PvP. I don't do much PvP, but Contention 80s is a pretty good server. Enigma's Cold War can be some fun as well. It's a Cold War server, of course. Shadow Reapers has been another up-and-coming server that's popular for PvE. So those are good options. They do tend to give you some flexibility in your engagement because you have objectives you're trying to hit, and there is value in not engaging sometimes. All right, Nut Squadron is taxiing out to the runway. Contention is a meat grinder. Yeah, contention can be pretty tough, but contention is also probably a good place to practice some of this. Contention is actually probably a really great situation to practice against Fox 1 firing aircraft, because Blue 4 will have the F-14 and the F-18, while Red 4 will have the F-16 and the F-4 Phantom, and it can be really hard and an uphill battle to fight those aircraft in an F-16. Nuts is lining up on the runway. Looks like 2 F-14s first. Internet is spreading his wings to T-pose and assert dominance. It looks like Airshow is using the JSDF skin for the F4. I like this skin quite often. I wish we got one without all the tags, because this is a lot of information to put on your plane. Airshow's putting his nose way too close up Sharklet's nozzles. It's a little indecent there, Mr. Airshow. But Airshow has brought 4 Sparrows, 4 Sidewinders, the centerline tank. It looks like Skelly has brought the wing tanks and no center tank. That makes sense. The center tank prohibits you from firing your front Sparrows, and it can be a bit of a pain to deal with in the middle of combat. Who else isn't a Phantom? Skelly is. I will wish the Phantom Flyers some good luck, but Jester right now is not in a great position to spot targets. He is pretty blind. You are far and away better off with a human Rio in the F4 Phantom at this moment. Mostly, my observations has been that Jester is not able to control the gain correctly. And it's similar to the F-14. A lot of F-14 pilots say that the F-14 Jester is not very good. Uses boresight mode. Boresight mode is pretty reliable in the F4, but that means your Sparrows are just basically bigger Sidewinder. Nuts is ready. We're waiting on the Mirage F1. Still need to nail down using boresight mode. Boresight mode is not too hard in the Phantom. You hit your uncage button to enter the boresight mode in radar, and then you hit your nose wheel steering button to lock up a target when you see one in front of you. I'm gonna root for the Mirage F1 again because I just want the Mirage F1 to win everything in this. I think it is such an underrated aircraft. Nuts has put up a poll asking if anybody is willing to fly in a Nuts SATAC Cold War tournament. Interesting. One of the things I always run into with the Mirage F1 is that high gain steering tends to throw me off. I'm a Viper pilot through and through, a simulated Viper pilot through and through, and the F-16 doesn't really turn all that great unless you start using differential braking to turn. But the Mirage F1's high gain steering will really turn it around, and you'll lift that wheel up like he's doing here. like Tom is doing here, and it gets a little frightening. You think you're gonna roll over, but it does have a wide landing gear, and it won't have a problem. It'll stay stable. Airshow damaged his plane. Airshow, how did you damage your plane? That's okay. LYS is ready. Nuts is ready. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. Starting his takeoff roll. Internet hasn't even started his roll yet. What broke this time? That's a good question, Sarge. LYS is starting their takeoff. F-16 and F-14 and another F-14 are going first. F-16's got to watch out. 2 F-14s are going in front of him. There's some dangerous wake turbulence you got to be careful of. But looks like he's safe. He made it up enough that it shouldn't matter. Next, I would be worried a bit about the MiG-29, but the MiG-29 is a pretty big aircraft. And then the Mirage F1. Let's watch this Miragi. Miragi is such a good aircraft. I just can't get enough flying this thing. Well, he is getting a bit of wake turbulence, it looks like. And he's up. Darklet is reporting some kind of an issue. I was asking if she could reslot, but she is wheels up and may not reslot at this point. We see most of Nuts going straight in, but Internet is flanking to the side. We see LYS flying straight in. They have a bit of a formation. Not quite. A string aircraft coming in. All right, let's see. 29 miles from the circle. 23 miles from the circle. It looks like red will get in first. LYS will enter the circle first. I wonder what their plan is. They don't have quite as easy access to the mountains this time around, but I think that they really want to make use of that. LYS is flying 17,000 with their Mirage F1 at 28,000. I still think that maybe they should have that F-16 up a bit higher to try to point out where the enemy aircraft are. The F-16 is only going to pick out targets at about 40 nautical miles, but it does have that look-down capability as long as there's no mountains between you and the enemy. And that's one of the advantages the F-16 has that it possibly shouldn't have in the competition, but we don't have an F-16A, so SATAC is doing their best to replicate that. Zoom climb, yeah. The Mirage F1 is a speedy aircraft. It can climb quite well, and it's pretty easy on the fuel, honestly. Just look at this gorgeous aircraft. We get in front of it and it's quiet. He's nearly supersonic. They're basically single file. Ace's stream is down for the moment. Uh-oh. Airshow has proclaimed that he does not look at the dials in his Russian fighter jets because they, quote, don't mean anything. I would expect nothing less from Airshow. Airshow seems to fly mostly on instinct, and my god, is his instinct good in most cases. All right, LYS has entered the circle. SRS has disconnected, so we're just gonna hide it, get rid of it, get it off the screen. We don't care. And Skelly enters the ring for nuts, contesting the battle area. LYS has not attempted. You're assuming that you have the Discord track muted for stream. Yes, I have the Discord track muted on stream just so that it's not cluttering up everything. I'm trying to relay what I can, what's relevant. Especially because I am supposed to have audio of the GCI, but SRS is not having a good time right now. The F1 is diving down, going supersonic. Supersonic in a dive and with his burner on. They have all dropped low. They're trying to hide from the radar. I think Airshow and Skelly's choice of F4 in this terrain is not going to be ideal. There's a lot of ground clutter with these mountains. It's going to make it quite difficult to see anything. But Skelly is flying high up. He's at 25,000 feet and climbing. Let's see, has Garen remembered to turn off their lights? Garen has remembered to turn off their lights this time. He is zooming in with his MiG-29, flying the trench run with the rest of his comrades. They're in a single file line. This is so cool. The F-16 giving us a nice barrel roll at just the right time. This is a hell of a shot. Oh my god. There's a discussion of strategy as LYS has changed drastically what they're doing. And Nuts is trying to conform. Nuts is up high, easy for LYS to see, but I don't think LYS has GCI for this time, so they may not know exactly where the enemy are. The Mirage splits off from the rest of the group. I think that is a good idea. Your main force to distract with another to come in from the side. We'll see how this plays out. Screwed up, huh? 3, 4, 5. Oh, Garen crashed. I completely missed it. Eating while flying is not the best idea. We need to get Sharklet to eat her breakfast while flying. She keeps complaining about not having had breakfast yet. The hungry shark is snacking on the enemy aircraft here. Their Mirage F1 is just flying high now, breaking out of the terrain, just to get faster to location. It looks like the rest of their group is stuck together. Their Nuts is trying to figure out exactly what LYS is doing. And they're not entirely sure. The Nuts is trying to pull LYS a bit north out of the valleys so they don't have to fight in what's likely to be their advantage. But I think Hex is gonna get pincered off here. Their F-16 is vectored onto Hex. I think he sees him. Hex is turning and running. is probably the smartest option. I think for a heli pilot, you did pretty good. That explains why you're flying that MiG-29 so well and low. The classic helicopter pilot move. Internet is just completely flying the opposite direction. Air show. Oh, there is an AM-7 in the air, and it knocks out air show. Zipper scores first blood. They've evened the odds. They are Zipper and Elbows are pincering Hex and Sharklet. But Knight is behind it, could be vectored on. They're coming down high. Sharklet has fired a Fox 1 that has splashed. But Elbows is coming in. Yeah, Airshow gets trashed in the first minute. It's classic. Airshow's being bold and brave. Puts him far out, it seems. Elbows, I don't think knows exactly where the enemy is, but they're looking. Knight has fired an AM-7 on Tom. I think that's going to be defeated, potentially. Oh! He hits! With some missile, I missed what that was. Knight is getting vectored on back to Elbows. See Internet contrailing way up there. Sharklet has fired an AM-7. Elbows is chaffing and flaring for their life. And gets splashed with a missile from Knight the opposite direction. Skelly is hunting for Cleo and 1-2. I think Skelly sees him. He's vectored on. I don't know how he sees him. He might have a guess. Sharklet has fired a Fox 1 on the enemy F-14. I want to see that Skelly flight. Let's see how this turns out, though. Oh, the F-14 gets splashed by an AIM-7. Skelly is engaging Cleo. F-14 versus F-4. Who will win? They're in close range. This is up to Fox 2's likely. Although Skelly might get a Fox 1 off. I think Skelly might have... Nope, Skelly sees him. Skelly, you gotta pull up. Skelly, you gotta pull up. You're gonna have a hard time outmaneuvering that F-14. But Skelly's best option here might be to buy time in the mountains while Cleo's on him, and then wait for Hex here, or Sharklet to get vectored on and take him out. Cleo has caught onto the ruse and has turned around. Looks like he's getting ready to engage Hex. I think Hex sees him. Close enough for a padlock track. Hex has fired a Fox 1. Will Cleo dodge this? Maybe. Oh, but it's a C-fit. Nuts has won again. This is a hard fight. All right. LOIS, could I get a person for an interview? I don't know, somewhere in the 51st PVO server. And I'll ask Nuts some questions here. Hi.
Hi, Mika.
Hello, Nuts.
Are
You
we
can
going
be
to do
heard on
interviews?
stream. I'm gonna do the first interview with you guys because I don't know what I'm doing.
There's an interview channel in the 51st PVO Discord.
Yeah. Are you gonna go there?
I mean, you
That's
got
where
us
it's
all
supposed to
here.
happen.
Yeah,
But okay,
I've got
yeah,
you
we'll
all
do it,
here. So, how was your first SATAC match, guys?
I think
Good.
it went pretty alright. It was really good fun.
You
Well, I'm having
guys,
fun.
you guys did quite well for having literally 0 plans beforehand.
Yeah,
Well-
I've never done anything like this before. This is first time.
It's
time
it's
for
very
everything.
interesting, having had cast so many matches of SATAC, to then participate and realize what like you can and can't see,
Uh-huh.
and realizing like how prohibitive the fog of war is. Like in the second round, I'm pretty sure that we were all just among each other, but none of us could see each other. None of us had the situational awareness.
Oh yeah, it was really interesting seeing it from the God's eye perspective and hearing your guys' comms the whole time saying that you talking about like I see something, but you don't know if it's friendly or not. And like there's a whole mess of like 4 of you swarming around one of the enemy, and you're trying to figure out which one is which.
Yeah, definitely the whole getting a PID on the enemy is just so important. And there was like times I hesitated to shoot even just because I wasn't even sure if it was enemy or not.
Mm-hmm. So, do you guys think you'll actually join SATAC officially?
We're
Working on the
it,
details.
Working on it.
but that's looking pretty good.
So far, the vote is looking pretty good.
I would like to participate, but I don't know if I'd be able to participate and cast it.
I mean, if you're casting at the same time, no way you're.
Yeah, of course
you're
not.
flying.
But I don't know if the
But
schedule would
obviously
work
you
out.
Yeah, we'll see about the schedule if you can stream or not.
Yeah, I'll do my best to be a reserve should you need it. All right. What?
I was just wondering if someone is a wizard for a Phantom, is that slots that's taken?
No, you can have Wizzos if you want to.
Yep.
Okay.
The rules
I
are
thought
that
you
in
took
in the qualification rounds you get you can have Jester or a human Wizzo, but in the elimination rounds you have to have a human Wizzo for the F4 or the F14.
Didn't that previously take a slot away though?
Nope.
Negative.
You
I
get
thought
6
it said on the older one
airframes.
to list.
You always get 6
Okay.
airframes. You can have as many pilots as you want.
Okay.
Is that you, Scar?
I see 2 people in front of me.
Oh, then that's not you.
Oh, I wanna catch up to you guys. How fast are you going?
Oh, that's you, Knight. Got it.
Mach 1.2.
Yeah, I ain't catching you guys. I'm fucking
All right.
8'9".
Well, thank you very much for casting, Mika. Don't forget to raid Ace when you're done.
He has an interview with the other person, the
Yeah.
other group.
If
Yeah.
if LYS would like to have an interview, I'll hop into the 51st PVO interview channel. Hopefully you aren't taking SATAC seriously. SATAC is something to be taken as seriously as you would like. If you want to play it to win, that's fine. If you want to play it to be, I think if you want to field an entire team of MiG-21s just for the giggles, I think that is fine. I don't think you're going to be really wasting anybody's time. It's in Cold War especially, I think you have a good chance as long as you're coordinated and you do your best. Anybody looking at all for an interview? And I'm getting asked questions by 1 sec. Third game, you're just trying to fly in formation. Formation flying is difficult. It is one of the harder things you can do in DCS. I'm getting asked by Ace some questions. Ace is one of my other friends trying to stream another SATAC match. He's getting beaten up by Twitch right now, so please excuse me while I try to give him some support. I'm gonna run a bandwidth test for him, and then if he is up, we'll raid into him, but if not, I don't know. I think we'll just end. Ace is offline. I think we could still probably raid into him. We'll see what happens. I really think your strategy of staying low is going to be a great strategy. The MiG-29, especially with its maneuverability, was doing quite well down there. And again, a lot of your enemy fighters... Oh, this still has alerts. That's not supposed to be there. But a lot of your opponents are going to be in things like F4s, F14s, stuff that can't really look down. Maybe the MiG-29s will have look down, I don't know, but F-16s, MiG-29s, stuff like that will have some look down capability, and that's going to be a bit difficult to deal with. So your strategy is going to have to change based off of what enemies you're going to be fighting. Ace, yeah, you're having trouble with the Twitch servers. I can't blame you. I'm running a bandwidth test. I'll throw you the server results so you can try to manually pick a server. But the Twitch servers have been shit in the bed today. My internet has been perfect. I ran speed test, but when I tried to start this stream, the Twitch servers, all but like 6 of them in North America, I wasn't even connecting to them. Tested all of them. Right now I'm reading Canada, Quebec, Toronto are good. I've got Mexico, Dallas, Denver, Garland, and Houston are degraded. It's Twitch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Twitch. I'm connected to Chicago right now. Ashburn, Virginia has entirely failed. Atlanta, Georgia is marginal. I'm live casting out the performance of the Twitch servers. Chicago, Illinois is posting marginal as well. That's the one I'm connected to. Although it's better than some of the others. I'm gonna really wish you luck, Ace. I just had to power through and hope the connection stayed. But Chicago, Illinois 3 has generally been pretty good of a server for me. Chicago, Illinois 56 is reading as all green, so that might work. I see Ace is up, so I'm just gonna throw you all over to him right now. We'll see what happens. Jump in server 2 and stream it if you can. Oh god, uh-oh. I have to do a second one? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh no. I barely knew what I was doing in here. Server 2. You're not live? Okay, fine. We're popping into server 2. I've got DCS up still. All right, I don't know what the score is. I don't know at all of what's going on. We've got Wyvern here. It's like a 4-on-1, and it is a guns battle. F-14 versus F-14. That is an F-16 that just flew by there. Holy crap, this is chaos. Looks like Wyvern already has some damage, but is doing his best to juke these maneuvers. Oh my god, he just lost a part. I don't know if that was important or not, but let's hope it was not at all important. This is like a feeding frenzy, but he is doing his best. Holy crap. This is a tough situation to be in. Oh, he lost. Oh, somebody just got hit. I don't know what just hit them. I think he rammed him on accident. RS1 Toro 0. Can somebody pass me their logos real quick and then... actually, wait. RS1 Toro 0, so this is going to be 1-to-1 after this, likely. This F-14 is still holding on. Oh, somebody's fired a missile, and that is it for RS. Toro has the match, but can they land? Let me get this, let me get the stream title updated here. And we'll see if we've got the logos for each. Thank you, Technetium, for that image. Return to own base. Where is doing this all live? Here's RS. So we are RS1 Toro 1. Likely. Assuming they can land. It's not set in stone yet. Right? One to one if Toro land. Awesome. We get to see another fight. We download this Toro logo. We'll get that popped up. I apologize for not having anybody's skins and not having TAC view working either. Sat view. That does help. But I kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but I can make a bit more sense out of this because the elevation lines. But whatever looks the best is probably the best. Thanks for jumping in. No problem. We'll try to get Ace up and running. I know the Twitch servers are just having a cow today, and it is not a good time. It'll be interesting to see what the strategy is of these two teams. Because I've missed the matches Air Show was doing yesterday because I was out and about all of yesterday. And I'll blame Air Show for my ill preparedness because I begged him to help me out last night and he just said, "No, you can figure it out yourself." He was very rude to me. He just did not want me to help at all. I also know that there's supposed to be a graphics preset for SATAC, but nobody gave that to me either, so I apologize if my graphics don't look great. I definitely could push them up for SATAC. I'll get that figured out before the next match I have to cast. But we're here just in time for my favorite pastime in DCS, judging landings. Who do you think will have the best landing? It's a little awkward not having any way to comment on the fight, because yeah. I didn't see the fight. That was one heck of a furball we had at the end there. It is definitely something I like with SATAC Cold War. We're going to get all the furballs all the time. It's going to be insane. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the monster teams from last year duking it out. Those will be fights to behold. Poor Spade is GCIing for Toro, and it is almost 3 a.m. for him. Get a round of appreciation for Spade here, working hard, keeping SATAC running for the teams. They're coming to land at Sukumi, right? I've got a TACAN. I have no idea what the TACAN is supposed to be for this. Get the F-16 view as if we're its targeting pod. It is another item I'm wondering about. The F-16 has access to a targeting pod, which is quite good. Or actually, no, they probably wouldn't allow it since it's supposed to be an F-16A. I was going to say that the targeting pod in the F-16, be it the Lantern or the Sniper or whichever targeting pod you want to go with, can slave to your air-to-air radar, which makes it a great tool for visual ID. So that way you can actually see what you're shooting at and what your radar is properly locked onto. And that can be quite useful. Or you can kind of slave it to a wide view and use your radar control to slow it around with your radar and potentially pick out a visual target. But typically, if you're doing that, your radar's likely got it already. Looks like Ronki is going to be coming in first for a landing. He's diving steep, pitch at negative 13 degrees, breaking through those clouds. These are going to be some of the harder conditions to land in. If you have ILS, definitely would be appreciated to use that. But the F-16 actually does have a capability that you can use. It's not official, but you can, because you have the F-10 map in DCS, you can put a steer point right on the end of the runway, and then select that as your current steer point. You'll see it in the HUD. If the elevation is right, it'll be right on the runway, and you can just fly a blind approach, put your flight path marker on the steer point, get your AOA set right, be on speed, and you can just land pretty much without visual. You'll need a little bit of visual at the end because you won't be perfect with that steer point, but you'll get close enough that it'll work. ILS on its own can be a little difficult in an F-16 because an ILS approach will typically bring you in on a 3-degree glide slope, while the F-16 would like about a 2.5-degree glide slope. So if you fly the ILS centered up on glide slope, you will end up touching down a little hard. You can alleviate that by flying, one peg a little low. So you end up around 2 to 2.5 degrees. It's not really a good practice, but it is a workable solution. Otherwise, you can try to fly your ILS until you get visual, then you have to dive down a little bit. ILS approach faster than 3 degrees. Yeah, that's the trouble in an F-16, that's a bit steep. That's a half degree too steep for an F-16's typical landing. So you can either accept a hardish landing, or you gotta try to fly a little low on your ILS localizer. Same thing with the PAPI lights. Normally, most aircraft you want 2 whites, 2 reds, but in an F-16, really you want about 2 reds, 1 pink, 1 white. Or you can do 3 reds, 1 white, but you really don't want to go any lower than that. At 4 reds, you're risking hitting some terrain. Alright, time to judge the F-16 landing. He's flaring very well and touching down quite gently, but missed the aero braking. He's trying his best to aero brake. Aero braking the F-16 in DCS is not terribly easy. The F-16 requires a pitch input the whole time to keep the nose up. On the real aircraft, I've been told that the landing mode puts you in an AOA manned mode, so that way when you touch down, the aircraft, as long as you touch down gently, the aircraft will keep its nose up on its own. There's no need to hold that constant input. I have missed what happened to the other guy. It's like he ran out of fuel and jumped out, so we are good. Alpha Gator, you can restart for the next match. And there is the server restart. Pop back into the Game Master slot. And we are back up. Toro is missing a number. Yeah, Toro, I forgot to put their number on because it wasn't official yet. We are 1-1. We are going into round 3. So this is for the win. Toro versus RS. I didn't catch the other matches, so I don't know who to bet on. But when we popped in, we had an RS F-14 fighting against 4 Toro aircraft, all trying to get a little bite of his F-14. And they were getting little bits and pieces. I saw one of them smack out the stabilizer, the right side stabilizer. Honey Badger has spawned in a hot F-14 is just taxiing already. Let's see who has what aircraft. We don't have everybody in quite yet. I believe Toro is mostly Spain. RS/404 has several EU and at least one Middle East. C. They probably want to hurry up. Ah, yeah, I can feel that. It's probably pretty late for them. For me, it's just about 5 p.m. I have plenty of time for another match. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 loaded in for RS. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Toro. So Toro has an F-14, an F-14, an F-14, a MiG-29A, and 2 F-16 Block 50s. I'd like to see what their strategy for the F-16s is, because I'm really not sure if high altitude or low altitude is the ideal for the F-16 in this. On one hand, at low altitude, you can really surprise people with your F-16. If your GCI is on top of things, you can pop your radar on and then pull up and get right onto a guy and knock him out before he knows what hit him. On the other side, if you're at high altitude, you have a lot more maneuvering options. You can haul ass and get away from a missile that's fired at you. Give those sparrows a lot of trouble, potentially. But then you also have the advantage of your look down radar works. That's something not a lot of other people have. Looks like Toro has 2 MiG-29s, an F-16, and 3 F-14s. I definitely expect to see a lot of F-14s in this competition. They are quite the versatile aircraft, even if they don't have the best look-down capability, and if they don't have the best turning capability, they're still quite formidable aircraft with a good missile payload. 8 missiles, 4 Fox 2s, 4 Fox 1s. 4 Fox 1s is the limit in SATAC, if I'm not mistaken. MiG-29 is just on the airfield waiting to load up. That is not a bad option. Save you some taxiing fuel, and then just sit on the runway and rearm right before you're ready. We have seen other teams do that with their drop tanks, pulling them off and putting them back on before they call ready, but are already on the runway. Kill death ratio by airframe and weapon. Yep. I will have to figure out how to get everybody's skins, because Airshow has not told me how to do that other than find somebody and ask them, which has not been very descriptive. ABMs, AICs, huh? Oh, air intercept control. The MiG-21 is flashing his light as if to say, or MiG-29 is flashing his light as to say, please hurry up, guys, please, I want to go faster. Toro is still warming up their engines. All their taxi lights are on. It looks like they are getting ready to go. I hear engines spooling up. There goes the first F-14. taxiing onto the runway. Which runway are they taxiing to? That is, yeah, that makes sense. That's the one pointed the right direction after all. Like seeing aircraft lined up on a ramp. It would be really cool if they all spawned right next to each other, but I can see, I can understand why that's not done because of how the slots work. SiriBot has gotten yet another confirmed kill. Good job, good job. Be gone, bot. Do you guys think SiriBot uses Fox 1, Fox 2s, or Fox 3s to kill bots? I guess it can't be Fox 3s since this tournament doesn't allow Fox 3s. Alright, we have both teams taxiing to the runway. Looks like RS/404 is ready to, mostly ready to go. They're stationed quite a distance apart on this runway. I wonder why that is. Is this just for style points? Got a MiG-29 and an F-16 up front. You can definitely see that these aircraft are of similar sizes. MiG-29 is a bit heavier, which is why the F-16, in real life at least, has the turning advantage. Although it can easily be out-turned based off of loadout and fuel. We see more of the airplanes taxiing. Yes, yes. Any criticism is welcome. I have never done this before. An airshow refused to give me pointers. He wants his monopoly on his good skill. Twin engine would be heavier. Yes, of course. Got the two F-16s bringing up the rear. Part of me wonders if I should make like a controller profile to control this so we can have smooth camera action. They're lined up 3 Tomcats abreast in a fantastic looking formation here. Moving up a little bit. Somebody forgot their brakes, or maybe this is intentional. No, they're just spreading out a little bit more for the camera, I think. It's an interesting choice to have their heaviest aircraft first. I wonder how much time lag they're going to need. We'll keep an eye on those F-16s in the rear. All right, teams, are you ready? Toro is ready. I really want to watch the Toro take off. We're going to watch the Toro take off. Normally we'd get a chance to watch each, but in this case we only have one match to watch. RS is ready. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. You hear those F-14 engines spool up already. And the first F-14 is down the runway. The second one is rolling. Third one. Let's pop over for a quick look at RS. RS has the MiG-29 and the F-16, their front aircraft taken up already. Oh, and a formation takeoff of the F-14s. This we can't miss. You're getting a little close there. You gotta use some rudder. Oh, one's got tanks, the other does not. One of them is taken off without missiles. He has no missiles at all. That is a bold move. I wonder if Whiskey just forgot to load their missiles. That is a big handicap. We'll see if that is going to come back to bite them. The MiG-29 is taken off. The F-16s are rolling now for Toro. Sorry, I am fighting my mouse not being locked to the window here. So I can really only scroll so far in one direction. He can land if he doesn't enter the circle. Camera for his moment of realization. I think he has realized it now. Yep, he has realized his mistake. Whiskey has realized his mistake, and he's coming in for a landing. .450 knots and dropping. Doing some S-turns to try to slow down. We'll see how well he can stick this landing and how quickly he can stick this landing. This is going to be one of the most hurried landings, but he has to do it right. Because if he messes up this landing, he might crash, and he can't reslot because he's already been wheels up. But rearming is going to take him a couple minutes. So either way, they will be down in F-14 for a little while. Isn't this a fantastic treat in SATAC? We get to watch a landing before the match has even really begun. 200 knots. This is a little fast of a touchdown, but I'm sure the F-14's gear will handle it. This is a Navy fighter after all. 180 at touchdown, and he's down. All right, let's watch what the teams are doing. Toro is already 14 miles out. They're at about a range of altitudes. The F-16s are at 12,000-ish feet. Oh, I was picking up that AWACS. I was wondering why one is at 32,000 feet when everyone else wasn't. Mustang and Werewolf are flying altitude 20,000 feet in the F-14As. And then Pistoy and Fur 109 in the F-14A and MiG-29 are flying together. It's okay. These mistakes happen in these early matches. You got to figure them out quick. Wyvern in a MiG-29 is flying low. It's like what we saw on the match against LYS. I am immediately forgetting their names because it's not in front of me. Their F-16 is at 20,000 feet, F-14 at 30,000. I really wonder how the F-14 radar, how well the F-14 radar works at high altitudes. I've flown a fair number of planes in DCS, but I have not flown an F-14 before, so I do not know much about how it actually works, what it's like to fly one, what it's like to be the Wizzo for one. F-14's going steep climb, reaching 30,000 feet. They're up high. I definitely think a high-low approach is a potential good option. You give the enemy something to worry about while you also give them something they can't see. F-14 is a great model. I have already promised that my first Navy jet is going to be the A7, so I cannot fly the F-14 until the A7 has released. Which maybe we'll get some more updates on the A7 soon, since Flying Iron is finished with their BF-10 or Focke-Wulf 190 for Microsoft Flight Sim. When the A7 comes out, I will fly the A7 in SATAC somehow, and it will go about as well as you would expect of a short little ugly fighter. That thing is slow as heck, and it only gets, I think, 2 Fox 2s. You can turn off main lobe clutter filter on the Tomcat. Sarge, I'm going to need that in English, please. Both teams have entered the ring. Zenek in his MiG-29 is falling behind, and Whiskey is coming in for their second takeoff. Four Sidewinders and 4 Sparrows, although the 4 Sparrows look like they're in a different location than I'm used to on the Tomcat. Where do the other Tomcats have them? Nope, that's how it is. I thought they were 2 rows of 2x2. Nope, they're straight. Okay. A7 and F8 are great. Ah, man, I can't wait for an F8 either. I know the F8 is going to be a challenge because I think there's a statistic like the F8 out of all of the 500 airframes that were made, only 2 were not involved in accidents over their lifespan, which tells you how good the F8 is. Although a lot of that is due to their use on the smaller carriers in the fleet. But they are one of a kind aircraft. They are really cool. I would love to have my hands on both for DCS. A7 is high up there. An actual F-16A is also high up there. F-16A would be fantastic. I know we've got a F-16 quote A end quote in SATAC, but this F-16 has a lot more capabilities than it really should. Not really anything super decisive. It's got a little bit of a better radar. It's got IFF, which the F-16A doesn't have. And then it has the horizontal situation display, which is something the F-16A does not have. So your navigation is done entirely through it has this horizontal situation display. The F-16A, your navigation is done entirely through the horizontal situation indicator that most other planes have, but it has a TACAN and a nav mode, so you can navigate to your waypoints through that. It is a bit of a limit on your situational awareness, which is a soft downside. A good pilot can definitely make up for it, but if you're not used to it, it can be a challenge to deal without your HSD. We see Honey Badger and Yosef still flying in pretty high, 34,000 feet, 23,000 feet. I do think F-16's high up is probably a good move because you do have that look-down radar when most of the other aircraft in this do not. And that it's a smart way to use your capability. But we see Alpha and Zenek coming in at high altitude, 40,000 feet for the MiG-29, 40,000 feet for these F-14s. People are going for the high altitude shots. I guess if you've got F-14s and you're fighting against F-14s, the high altitude isn't a bad option. No, people can't get up to you that quickly if you're at 40,000 feet when they're at 8,000 feet in those mountains. Your GCI, if they're on top of things, they should be able to pick them out before you can really get within a Fox 1 range with what we've got in terms of Fox 1s on this competition. Wyvern is splitting north, going low. Looks like they're trying to confuse the enemy so that he can come in and pincer later. While Kistoy and Fern are coming in high and wide. All of Toro is up pretty high. It's interesting that the F-16s are not following quite as high. They're at 23,000 feet. An F-16 with its loadout, with its air-to-air loadout, could definitely come up higher. They could do about 35,000 feet, I'd think, depending on fuel load and tanks. We're getting close to the first missiles being fired. It looks like Kistoy and Honey Badger are vectored onto each other. Dice is vectored onto Kistoy as well, so it's 2 versus 1. And we've got the first missile in the air, an AM-7, fired at about 15 miles. Kistoy has fired one back. Let's see if we can see where these missiles are coming from. They've crossed each other. Will these missiles hit? I think Kistoy is at his gimbal limit. But that missile's coming in quick on him. I think he's dodged that missile. Yes, he has. No hits. Werewolf or Mustang. I didn't quite catch that. One of them has fired an AM-7 at Yosef. Will it pay off? Dice has fired an AM-7 at Kistoy. Will he dodge this? I think he is safe from that missile. Yeah, he has dodged that missile. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have 6 versus 6. Nobody's gone down yet. Zenek has fired an R-27 at Mustang. I don't know if Mustang has noticed this shot yet. Where is that missile coming from? I think I was told there's a keybind where you can see missiles coming in on somebody, but I forgot what it was. Unfortunately. Honey Badger launches an AM-7, looks like it's at Ronki. Nobody is getting into dogfights here. They're not bonsai charging. They are, looks like, basically setting up a cap grinder. I think that is probably a pretty safe option with the AM-7 Sparrows. You still have a decent option. Weapon view. I know F6 is the weapon view, but I'm talking about the view that lets you see a padlock from a target, from a plane to a missile coming in on it. Dice fires an AM-7 at what looks like Werewolf, but I don't think Dice sees Asper down below, 8,000 feet below him. This AM-7 is coming in hot. And that is the first blood of the match by Dice. Dice dodges the resulting AM-7, likely due to it having lost all guidance. Mustang fired an AM-7 at Yosef, but no avail. Somebody else went down. Werewolf got hit. Actually, I think Werewolf might have had a CFIT since it didn't say anyone was hit. Uh-oh, did Kistoy just fire on a friendly? Nope. Looks like he missed, at least if he did. Alpha Whiskey is coming in high and hot. Yep. Alpha Whiskey is going to be coming in to help out. It might be timed just perfectly. The enemy may have forgotten about him. Zenek fired an R-27, but it looks like it smacked into the ground. Oh man, we've got a couple of awesome dogfights breaking out. Oh, somebody had a CFIT. Honey Badger CFIT. Kistoy is coming in on Yosef. I don't think he sees him. Yosef is right on the tail of Fur. Come on, F-16. Come on, F-16. I believe in you. He fires an AM-9. And splashes him. Taking out Fur in the MiG-29. We have another exciting fight here between a MiG-29 and I forgot to see what that other aircraft is. I think it's an F-16. Classic pair-up. Yep, F-16 versus MiG-29, and Zenek takes out Ranky, but then gets taken out himself by Asper. We are in a 2 versus 3. Wyvern is hot on Kistoy's tail, and Whiskey is coming in real hot on Asper. This is going to be a hard fight to come back from, but I believe F-16 with four spears to throw, and F4 with 3. I think there is a good chance to come back from this. Whiskey has fired an AIM-7 on Asper. Let's see if this missile hits. It looks like there's clear enough ground that you can't get ground occlusion here. As long as the radar keeps that lock, I think this missile will be in good position. Although it might be kinetically defeated. The F-16 is quite fast for that. Wyvern is hot in the tail of Kistoy, and I think he just took someone out. Yeah, Kistoy just got taken out by Wyvern. It is 3-on-1 in favor of... is this missile gonna hit? Is this missile gonna hit? Oh, and he takes out. That was a fast and exciting match. This is what we're coming to expect from SATAC Cold War. F2 and then F5. Yeah, F5 goes from a plane to a plane, but somebody was saying that there's one from a plane to a missile. So if I do this, it locks you onto the nearest plane. All right. Now RS just has to make it back with at least one plane and land. I see AlphaGator is specifying own base. I don't think that's been specified before in previous years. I wonder if a mistake has happened to make that required to be specified now. Control F6 slaves the target to the missile. Ah, okay. Thank you, AlphaGator. Attack is running now too, and they're required to the enemy base. Ah, okay. That's a good point. Just want to be clear. It pays to be specific. Let's see what weapons you have left. Yosef with 4 AM9s. Wyvern with 3 missiles I don't know the name of because I don't know anything but Western missiles, unfortunately. I need Airshow to give me a coach. And Whiskey with 4 Sidewinders and 2 Sparrows left. Whiskey, who started with no missiles, has gained missiles in the course of this match. That is an impressive feat, to be sure. Hello, hello, Mr. Airshow. Can you educate me about... Can you make me a missile cheat sheet? Because I don't know about Eastern missiles at all. What are these things? I know they're heat seekers. I don't know what they are. Oh, he knows I'm watching him. He's giving off a show. Ah, man, this is making me really tempted to pick up the MiG-29 at some point. But I might hold off for the full fidelity. I'm a big fan of the full fidelity aircraft. I don't know if I really want to do an FC3. But I am glad that FC3 is an option in DCS. It's a great way to get newer players into the sim without overloading them with information. The cope version of the flanker. Yeah, who knows? The MiG-23 or MiG-29 is supposed to outturn the flanker, so it is supposed to be like a contemporary to the F-16 lightweight fighter. Bullfight Italy to MiG-29 coming. The only reason you're still alive. Yeah, I'm really excited for the MiG-29. I'm still holding my breath for a MiG-23 as well. I believe that it'll happen at some point. They're not 5 matches. Only 3 matches until elimination. If everything goes well and you get 230 MK from Deca after the J8 is done, you want to reconsider after the early access release of the J8? I would like to stick around for interviews, but I have other engagements that I'm gonna have to go to myself after this match. I wasn't expecting to get pulled into another match, so we'll finish this up. And sorry, I won't be able to interview RS or Toro, but next time around, I'm sure I'll see you guys around. Looks like the F-16 is going to aiming to be the first to land here. No problem. We gotta get Ace a good match to go to. Also, I need more training on how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing at all in terms of streaming this. An F-16 with his burner on. This guy hates fuel, doesn't he? 12G turns, so your instruments were messed up. Oh, oof. Been there, done that. I was doing some dogfighting in an F-16 the other day, and I had a matchup F-16 versus F-14As, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. In DCS, the F-16 does have like about a 3 degree per second turn rate advantage over the F-14A. So I was like, this is gonna be a piece of cake. I see the bandit, I roll into him, and I start pulling to turn into him, and I pull 9 Gs and black out my pilot immediately. And I just G-locked myself, and I had to beg Sharklet to bail me out of that one. Otherwise, I would have been dead to rights, because it was 2 versus 1. It was a bad situation, but it was fun anyway. Streaming DCS is hard, yeah. The hard part is also all the other stuff going in. This air show kind of did just leave us off and was like, hey, go get the skins. But where do I get the skins? It would have been helpful if Airshow took us under his wing. Not metaphorically, but literally took us under his wing, because he's a Su-27. He has a big enough wing to take us both under. He could probably take both Ace and me in our F-16s under his wing at the same time. I am liking more and more my idea of hooking up a game controller and binding it to the view controls and trying that out. Because that might provide a little bit of a better experience for y'all. F-16, my love. Oh my god, I cannot express in words how much I love this aircraft. I know the F-16 is not the best aircraft, but it is a great aircraft. You said skins, someone said your trigger word. Yeah, I did not know how to get the skins for everybody. So we don't get to look at people's flaps and see any Easter eggs. Blanker headbutting the F-16 in the Bering Strait. Yeah, I looked at that video and I saw it within the first second and I went, bird slicers, this is an F-16 cockpit. Knows immediately what this aircraft is by looking at a singular video. Give me your skin. Sarge, do you need my F-16 skin? Isn't it already in the nuts pack? Totally don't have 500 gigabytes of skins installed. Oh god, yeah. That's how it goes. My hard drive is going to be dying after SATAC with all those skins. Alright, we get to... It is time for my favorite pastime in DCS. Judging other people's landings. Got a nice flare and a gentle touchdown. MiG-29 landing time. Oh, Sarge, you're trying to say that you want people's actual skin? You can have the actual aircraft skin. Oh, there goes his tank. And his air brakes are out. I wonder if he can't drop those air brakes out with that tank. I think this is the first time I've seen a MiG-29's air brakes. Those are some beefy looking air brakes. And what's this little little pipe in the back for? Do we have any MiG-29 specialists here? No air brakes of the tanker gear. See, I'm so used to the F-16 where you always have your air brakes out when landing. And it really does help in a lot of other jets too, even if you're not supposed to. Because it makes your engine run higher on landing, which lets it spool a bit quicker. He doesn't have any gear down yet. Is he aiming for... oh, there's gears coming down. A little wobbly. He's floating. Go around, go around. But he has a nice touchdown, completely flying into the ground. And I think he popped, yeah, he popped one of his tires. I don't know how he popped one of those tires. That looked like a pretty soft landing on my screen. Bye-bye, tires. We got an F-14. Not landing quite yet, just doing an overfly. I wonder if they're going to do an overhead brake. Landing at light speed, not using the parachute. Yeah, what gives with SATAC players not using parachutes? Camera on the right side. What if I want to be on the left side? Coming around. I think he gained altitude in this. Yeah, I think he was at 2.9. He's at 3.3. Not quite how you're supposed to do the overhead brake. Well, why don't you write him a letter telling him he did it wrong, Sarge? I cannot wait for the A7 to come out also, so I can have all the my friends who fly Navy jets make fun of me for my carrier landings not being right. But the shootout is just not synced. Gears down. Give him a phone number to copy. Yeah. Just hanging it in the air with this F-14. 160 knots. That's a real slow speed. Single number in the Lua. So now it's the only one that is visible. As a visible shoot in multiplayer, huh? Air brakes are out. Oh, and they're back in. I do wonder if the F-14's front camera helps out at all in this competition. I imagine it might help a bit. Especially if their team is using all their own skins and doesn't have the other team's skins at all. Then you know the other team's all in probably default skins and at least not your own skins that you're able to see. No direct lift control, helps push the thing down. Yeah, doesn't it have flight spoilers on top? Supposed to be out and no DLC. I'm gonna need you guys to say things in English for me, because you're talking in F-14 speak and I can't read F-14 speak. But Whiskey is down and down safe with a nice gentle landing. I don't think he's gotten the understanding that the F-14 is a Navy jet and it needs to be set down hard. But with that, it is a victory for RS. If I can get the right number here. They know how to fly that thing. Oh, but they're not used to flying it on carriers. All right, that's match. Alpha, is there anything I need to do to wrap this up officially? Nope, you got it. All right. As I said before, I don't have time to do interviews, unfortunately, so I'm going to take off. Thank you all for watching, and big thanks to our contestants, RS and Toro here. I will be back again for the next SATAC match that gets doled out to me. Thank you all. Bye-bye.